Tonight, the Airbnb crackdown, neighbours urged to dob each other in over unregistered operations. Tasmanians demand action, calling on our nation's leaders to reverse the cuts to aged care. The Commonwealth Bank accused of charging debt customers fees. The aviation industry orders the inspection of jet engines after the incident which killed a passenger. His booming voice lifted Australian sport, the tribute to Daryl Eastlake, gone at 75. And the latest in technology helping Tasmanian farmers.
Live from our Tasmanian headquarters, this is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. Tasmania's housing shortage is turning the focus on Airbnb, with calls for more information about the extent and impact of the booming short-stay accommodation sector. Hobart's Deputy Lord Mayor is urging concerned residents to dob on their neighbours if they suspect they're operating an unregistered Airbnb.
The digital disruptor Airbnb has boomed across Tasmania. Hundreds of short-stay properties are listed on the website, from rooms to whole houses.
Serious investors, local, interstate and from overseas, are buying up properties. They're evicting long-term residents, which is adding to the housing crisis, and they're setting up as short-term accommodation, which of course pays much more.
Hobart's Deputy Lord Mayor is calling for residents to dob in suspected Airbnbs to check they've been registered properly.
We need to know, all of us need to know what's going on so that we're sufficiently well informed to be able to make decisions, to make representations and to argue the point if we believe that our neighbourhood is being changed for the worse.
Upper House members are also calling for more information, with a push for a parliamentary inquiry.
You know, there's been a lot of conjecture, as I said, that's come out about what it's causing, whether it's causing housing shortage, whether it's not. And I just think it's really important that we actually get some facts behind it.
The government says it would work with the inquiry, but is sticking to its guns, refusing to consider re-regulating the sector.
It's completely disingenuous for the government to support an inquiry into short-stay accommodation but rule out any further regulations before it even starts.
Because of this really ordinary policy outcome we've been left with, Airbnb has become a really easy lightning rod for people to raise.
The Tourism Industry Council says Airbnb isn't the sole cause of the housing shortage, but deregulation of the sector was too drastic and has lumped in traditional accommodation providers.
B&B operators who've been running their businesses around regional Tasmania and around Hobart for decades, they've lumped them in essentially people who are home sharing. So it's going to be really hard to unravel this kind of deregulation.
But as the fretting on housing continues, results of any inquiry would still be many months away. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
A 21-year-old man has appeared in the Hobart Magistrates Court, charged over a fatal crash at Old Beach last year. A 15-year-old girl was killed when a car crashed into a power pole on Baskerville Road in July. Jade K. Sward has been charged with causing death and grievous bodily harm by dangerous driving. He's also facing charges of being an unaccompanied learner driver and driving with alcohol in his system. Mr. Sward didn't enter a plea and the matter has been adjourned until July. Rescuers have found a man who went missing in dense bushland on the state's west coast overnight. The man was separated from his group and vehicle in Corinna around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, prompting an extensive air and ground search. The Westpac rescue helicopter located the 59-year-old safe and well this morning after he spent the night in the cold without food or shelter. Crews praised his efforts of staying close to the track. Walkers are reminded to carry adequate clothing and provisions in case of an emergency. Police are continuing to search for the person responsible for deliberately lighting charity donations on fire at Mowbray late on Tuesday night. CCTV captures the moment the alleged offender left the charity shop scene. A mattress was set alight outside the store. The fire then spread to other donated goods and damaged a wall. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Tasmanian aged care workers say they're unable to provide the care their clients deserve and are demanding more funding for the sector. But the federal government claims it's already putting more money than ever into the industry.
Standing united, aged care the subject of a passionate rally on Hobart's Parliament lawns.
It is absolutely a national disgrace that the circumstances that exist in aged care are as they are right now.
Despite the federal government saying it is pumping record amounts of funding into the sector, these protesters claim there's been $4 billion in cuts since 2014.
Tasmania is going to feel the brunt of these cuts quicker than anyone else. We are the oldest population and we're ageing very quickly.
Staff say this has created widespread issues and has led to a reduction in quality of care to some of our nation's most vulnerable.
It is a disrespect for them because they're not getting the care that they once were when they were at home in their own home.
Sally Fox has worked in the industry for the past 14 years and says staff conditions, facilities and extras in client care are suffering.
Read to them or put curlers in their hair, or all those little things that once upon a time they would have had, which they now no longer have.
Today's rally, one of many around Australia, as part of the national campaign called Our Turn to Care.
Generally, it's just a lot of people just feeling the pinch, just not coping.
The federal government says its recently announced Quality and Safety Commission will ensure its regulation standards are lifted. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Following a tough few years for our agriculture sector with floods, droughts and a fruit fly incursion, farmers are now looking at ways to become more innovative. New technology put on show at today's Precision Agriculture Expo.
An expo with an aim to boost our agricultural sector.
Agriculture is in a fantastic time at the moment. We've got fantastic commodity prices and we have growers in our industry that are interested in taking agriculture to the next level.
To help make that happen, farmers and business leaders were today shown the latest in farm technology. Drones, one of the main new innovations assisting the industry.
The drone technology now and its adoption into farming is from crop analysis to soil analysis.
Farmers also hearing how better drainage systems could maximise crop yield, especially during severe weather events.
It's been an absolute awesome autumn and hopefully it'll set us up nicely for winter. So yeah, like everyone, we're all afraid of rain, but it'll come eventually, it always does in Tassie.
But while it's been a good growing season for most, our fruit growers are still under pressure. No further fruit fly have been detected since April 9, but 2,500 properties across the north remain involved in the eradication program. It's also been revealed the government paid an interstate fumigation contractor $250,000 to undertake less than 2 weeks' work in Devonport.
No doubt the government has mishandled the incursion of fruit fly. Fruit growers across Tasmania are not only worried about fruit fly but other incursions such as blueberry rust.
I'm not going to make any apologies for the fact that we wanted to act quickly with our response, and that is what we did. It's important for our whole state that we remain fruit fly free in the long term.
Monica Dadson at Southern Cross News.
It could still be months before details are released in relation to the death of 16 polo ponies after being transported from Tasmania to Victoria. The Primary Industries Minister says the investigation is complicated and she will not preempt any of the findings.
I know that Tasmanians are concerned and I know that Tasmanians want to see the outcomes. However, it would be inappropriate to create an artificial deadline for what is an independent investigation.
The ponies from the Willow Pony Club in New South Wales participated in Barnbougu Polo in January this year. Their owner claims he found them dead cold in his truck an hour after getting off the Spirit of Tasmania in Melbourne. Tasmanian, Victorian and New South Wales authorities are investigating the incident. Following the controversial decision to resurface UTAS Stadium towards the back end of the TSL season, the Launceston City Council has changed its tune, postponing the works until next year, with the ground now set to be available for State League finals if either of the northern clubs make it through.
If we do make the grand final, and it is out here, it's a great thing for Launceston. I believe it's the best ground in the state, and why wouldn't you want to play it here if you had the chance?
The ground will also be available for any potential Hobart Hurricanes Big Bash games following the success of last year's Northern matches. The resurfacing will now begin after the final Hawthorn match of the 2019 AFL season. Welcome back, everyone. A Burnie grandmother who supported her extended family through a crisis of illness has been named as the Tasmanian Mother of the Year. 84-year-old Joan Bellinger was nominated by her daughter for stepping up when she was needed most.
She's a mother of 4 and a grandmother of 10. Joan Bellinger has spent 60 years raising children and working as a teacher, and for the past 3 years supporting her son-in-law with an illness. It's for this reason she's been named Bernardo's Mother of the Year for Tasmania.
Overwhelmed, surprised, honoured. I'm honoured.
Joan received her award in Hobart today, surrounded by her family and members of the community. She was nominated by her daughter Lynn, whose husband Gerald was only 48 when diagnosed with early onset dementia.
I just wanted to put down on paper initially what she means to me and everything that she does for me.
It's lovely to think that she would think of me at this time when she's facing so much upset in her life. Her life has been turned upside down.
Bernardo's Australia is a leading children protection charity, and the annual Mother of the Year Award celebrates the work Australian mums do.
She indicated someone who's a normal mum, an average mum in Burnie, in any community, who has stepped up at a time of need, and she's obviously put her kids first.
No, you're a mother for life, and I've been lucky enough to live long enough to be a mum for this long and hope to live a lot longer.
Joan will now progress to the national ceremony held in Sydney next month. Ruby Kamain, Southern Cross News.
Tasmanian kids are getting hands-on to improve their knowledge about health. Health Lit for Kids, a program that mixes high-tech and traditional activities to educate children on health and nutrition. It takes place in the A-Lab, a newly established learning space formed in collaboration with the state government and the University of Tasmania.
So it's just great to see them seamlessly blending those two technologies to hopefully enhance their understanding about this important area.
The program aims to run every school year. Some of Launceston's most talented young artists have spent the day putting their skills to work in a bid to brighten up the Launceston Library. The Youth Art Challenge event is designed to engage artists aged between 12 and 25.
I'm doing lots of Australian books because the theme is Discover, so I'm chosen like a big list of Australian books and I'm doing a bookshelf of them all.
Creativity is fundamentally a thing that underpins innovation, and a lot of young people and young adults are involved in being innovative.
All art materials are supplied by the Friends of the Library Launceston Group. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news, thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed higher for a 5th straight session, led by the mining and energy sectors, after commodity prices jumped on hopes of a stronger economic activity in China and low US oil stocks. The ASX 200 index rose 19.6 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 77.96 US cents and 54.9 British pence. Sport is next with Tom Cooper. Good evening, Tom. OHA facing a massive test this weekend.
Good evening, Joe. That's right. The Netball State League cellar dwellers take on premiership favourites, the Hawks. More on that after the break. Also coming up, we'll cross to Melbourne to tell you who's in and who's out for the AFL's Round 5 clashes. And Australia's newest Test captain returns home to Hobart, opening up about the scandal that rocked the country. Welcome back. The race for the Targa Tasmania title is heating up with just 2 days left until the cars cross the finish line in Hobart. 6-time winner Jason White remains the leader, but Porsche driver Matt Close is hot on his heels. On track to claim a record 7th title, White began day 4 19 seconds clear of the field, and despite a worn set of tyres, his Dodge Viper showed no signs of slowing down on the road from Launceston to Strawn. Shaping up as White's only real threat, Matt Close kept his target dream alive as his Porsche made comfortable work of the route out west. But he'll have to find another gear, still 37 seconds behind White, heading into the final 2 days of racing. In the classic GTs, Western Australian Mick Bray and his 1975 Tirana remain in the box seat, with Graham Copeland's 1941 GMC Jimmy Special continuing to dominate the classic handicap field, while Josh Sutcliffe's Subaru STI has extended his lead to nearly 3 minutes in the early modern classics. Tomorrow sees drivers tackle 6 stages over 114 kilometres as the field makes its way to Hobart. To the TSL now, and Lauderdale and Kingborough will have big points to prove under the lights of the Twin Ovals tomorrow night, while North Hobart will look to avoid a whitewash over at KG5 with the Pies flying high. Competitive for half a match last weekend, it was the same old story for the winless Bombers in the home stretch.
We pride ourselves on being competitive for as long as we can, and we battled hard for as long as we can. In the end, ran out of legs.
With Lauderdale again missing key leaders Bryce Walsh and Thor Boscott, the Tigers coach says his side will still tread cautiously coming up to bye.
And that'll be fantastic for our group as well, to have a hungry team with their back against the wall. You know, we're 1-1 as well, so, you know, we're not obviously setting the world on fire too, so it's a big game for us.
And while North Hobart remains winless, the D's coach was feeling a bit more chipper this week after a competitive showing against the Roos.
It's really good. We needed a response, and the guys gave us a response. I mean, nearly having 50 tackles in the first half was exceptional.
But the young side faces its biggest test to date after Glenorchy stamped its mark on the competition against an undermanned North Launceston last weekend, and the Pies will have added incentive to back it up with skipper Braden Webb lacing up for game number 150.
It's not so much, you know, the margins or the wins, but the brand of footy we've played, which is exactly what, or not exactly, but really close to what we've been working towards over pre-season.
After officially being named as Australia's new Test captain indefinitely, Hobart's Tim Payne says one of his biggest priorities in the top job will be helping to restore the Australian public's faith in the side following the recent ball tampering scandal.
You know, winning back, I suppose, the trust and respect of our fans and the Australian public first and foremost, and yeah, that's a really exciting thing for all of our playing group.
The Tasmanian keeper also throwing his support behind the idea of Justin Langer becoming the new Australian coach following the emotional resignation of Darren Lehmann.
There's so many quality people around Australian cricket and around the world that would, I suppose, put their hand up for that job. But yeah, Justin's one of those guys who I know would be absolutely brilliant.
Payne is set to resume full training in the coming weeks after fracturing his thumb during the recent Test series against the Proteus, and it says he'll be right to go for the upcoming one-day series in England, with the squad to be released early next month. The State League Netball and OHA face a massive task this Saturday up against undefeated Northern Hawks. The underdogs will welcome back skipper Katie Stanford, who's keen to help the young side bounce back from a 69-goal loss to the Cavaliers, while the Hawks will look to make it 4 from 4 this season.
We do have some good depth through the club within our first grade team, so we will be calling some of those players up, and we have some great depth in our 19s as well to be able to support us too.
I think they're pretty unpredictable, so we've really got to be switched on the weekend. Don't take them lightly. Really focus on, I think, 4 consistent quarters of netball.
In the other round 4 matches, Arrows take on Cripps in Hobart tomorrow night, with Cavaliers set to face Burnie in Launceston on Saturday. Joe, as long as the Pies win this weekend, that's all that matters. Great news about Tim Payne too. It's been a long road to the captaincy for him, but fantastic news.
It is fantastic. We're so very proud of him. Brilliant for us. Thanks so much for that, Tom. Pete Murphy will be joining us right after the break with the weather.
Good evening. Hobart and Launceston, 17 degrees today. Burnie won better on 18 and Devonport 16. 19 was the high on the Bass Strait Islands on a mostly fine day, apart from some drizzle over the far south. Friendly Beaches, 18 degrees under the autumn sun. Smithton, Ouse and Strawn, 17. Low Head, St Helens and Grove, 16. Lyoweeney, a high of 15 degrees. The east had the clear skies today, just some low-level cloud creeping over the west, north and far south of Tasmania. Now, there was plenty of cloud, however, spiralling around a low south of WA and with a trough to our south. An inland surface trough is there too over Queensland and central New South Wales. Another trough generates some action over South and Western Australia. Tomorrow, the low south of WA is being shoved along by a high developing over that state. High pressure zones also over our region, with the trough still over the central parts. Variable winds at 5 to 10 knots onshore in the afternoon, so fairly calm over the seas tomorrow. Swells in western and southern waters at 2 metres. So for tomorrow, as we end the working week for many, Hobart a sunny day and 18 degrees, 19 for Huonville and Campania, all looking hunky-dory. Launceston sunny as well, 19 the top, 18 for Devonport, mostly sunny for Georgetown, a top of 18 degrees, we'll take that. Burnie mostly sunny as well, 18 the top, 17 for Strawn, Wynyard okay and 18 degrees, while for St Helens, it all continues well, sunny and 18, 18 also for Swansea, sunny for Port Arthur too. On Saturday, a fine start before showers develop over the west in the afternoon, possible showers over the west and south on Sunday but fine elsewhere, and a moderate chance of a shower or two over the southwest on Monday. A shower clearing from Perth tomorrow, partly cloudy in Adelaide, becoming sunny in Melbourne, fine for Canberra with 26, a late shower for Sydney and Brisbane.
Well, before we leave you tonight, despite some tough competition, the Jad's Parish Vineyard has been named Tasmania's Best for this year by the Royal Agricultural Society. Focusing on Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, the judges were impressed by the vineyard's nutrition and management programs, which allows for specialised outcomes in different growing environments. It will hold an industry field day at the end of next month. And that's all from the news team for now. We'll of course see you with updates throughout the evening. Bye for now.